Earlier covered business analysis, IT business analysis. IT business analyst outputs like requirement models, requirement documents where we write user stories, where we write functional requirements, etc. We requirement visuals, a wireframe. We also mentioned the 6+2 key software, Visio, Balsamic, Jira, Bizagi Business Process Modeler, Word, SQL, Power BI, and ChatGPT. With your unique background, it could be domain skills, it could be experience in IT, it could be you see working in a given industry, and this program will take you to the business analyst role. So a business analyst has to conduct and complete the requirement process on an IT project. He has to elicit requirements from the client, develop these requirements, refine these requirements, document these requirements, get these requirements validated from the client, share and communicate these requirements, and basis these requirements, the development effort and development activity proceeds. So this is your job. So our focus today is on requirements. Let us understand what requirements are. In very simple words, requirements are goals which business analysts, which end user accomplish through the system. So what is the requirement? Requirements are goals which end users accomplish through the system. So say, for example, if you are a participant in this meeting, you are also an end user for this Microsoft Teams software or a net meeting software. What are some of the requirements or what are some of the goals which you accomplish through the system? Please tell me. You can speak. Say, for example, you would like to utilize the mic and you would like to speak during the meeting. You would like to participate in the chat. You can send in a question. You can raise your hand so that attention can be drawn towards you. You should have the facility to join the register for the meeting. You should have the facility to have a meeting registration confirmed delivered in your email box. You may also require a facility that you require a reminder for the meeting, say 30 minutes or 1 hour ahead of the meeting. So now can you think of a business analyst and can you think in terms of requirements? I need an affirmation. Am I audible? You can just unmute yourself and speak.
Yes,
Or
you are Vijay. I'm just trying to.
okay, are you able to understand what is the requirement? Goals which end user would like to accomplish through the system. Very simple definition. Think of an ATM machine. Think of yourself as a account holder in a given bank. What would you like to accomplish through the ATM machine? What are your goals? I would like to hear from you. So ATM machine is basically the machine which we utilize in India to basically take out cash. So let us think in terms of goals. Think of some other software. Say, for example, think of a taxi hailing service like Uber. Think of yourself as a person who is utilizing the Uber platform for rides. What are your goals? You would like to book a ride. You would like to make a payment via variety of means. Say, for example, when the ride is complete, say, for example, uh, payment by card, payment by cash. During the ride, if there is some emergency, you would like to talk to the call center or help desk. You may need to share your mm, share the geographic location of your ride as the ride progresses. So, Mr. Samir and Mr. Ahmed, are you with
Yes,
me? You see, this is something which should
the
immediately
interactive.
immediately resonate with you.
Yes.
If this is resonating with you, I think you are on the right track. So this is a requirement. So our context
So
is a software project. Yeah, please speak.
your question was I was trying to actually recollect your question. Was the requirement for ATM machine, right? The initially you
Yep,
asked was as a business analyst, or as a user, what you would expect from an ATM machine, right?
ATM machine. Yeah. So
Or
you
the Uber, right? You're giving an example of Uber, but not the ATM, right? But
so
you
so
are
so I have
asking,
so I started with ATM machine when no one answered. I
yes, you give me
moved
an
on to
yes. Okay.
because I thought
Um,
I do not know what an ATM machine is being called in United States. So
no,
I feared that you are not able to identify what an ATM machine is.
I was trying to understand your question, like what should be there. Then you
Sometimes you
started
see,
Uber.
sometimes vocabulary is a bit different in different geographies. So that is
I
why I
got it. I
moved on
got it.
to yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised to see we have three guests with the same name, Ahmed. Anyway, uh, okay, I'll make a correction in my name. It should be Samir. Okay, so
Yeah.
like as an ATM machine user, I would expect firstly, it should be, it should allow me to withdraw the money,
Yes.
then to do some banking. Like maybe I like to pay my bills through ATM machine. I would like to
Okay.
pay my tickets through ATM machine.
Okay.
It should give me an opportunity to withdraw currency in my desired denomination, right? Like
Okay.
maybe I would prefer only 500 denominations or thousands or hundreds. So it should give me an
Yes.
option of that. Um, then it should allow me a option to print a mini statement or a statement or receipt of my few transactions. Something a kind of banking options which are usually available in the ATM, but maybe some of them ATM doesn't allow you to do pay the bills or something like
Yeah.
that. So
Okay.
I should, yeah, got it.
So I think you are right on track. So your business analyst mm, skills are, you see, ready to be honed. So,
Hmm.
say for example, for every software or for every application, for every system, we will need to, as a business analyst, to start with, we can start for requirement, to start the requirement activity, we can start with user roles and user goals. Very simple. A requirement is a goal which an end user would like to accomplish through the system. Now, there could be more than one user role for a given software system. So, say, for example, I take an example of a food delivery app, a e-commerce food delivery app. So, for the food delivery app, there could be user roles like a person who is making an order. Let us say we call him as a customer, a person who is basically picking the order from the restaurant and who is delivering the order. Let us say we call him the food delivery partner, a person or a individual, a restaurant manager who is confirming the order and basically helping the individual whenever the food delivery partner, when he comes to the restaurant, that the order is handed over to him and the order status is updated. We may also have call center support for all this activity. Then there could be a role, say for example, a restaurant owner who will list or delist the restaurant on the e-commerce food delivery platform. So for requirements, we need to identify the user roles and the user goals. So now let us focus on the role goal thing, software roles and software goals. And what are these goals? These goals are requirements. Understanding user roles and user goals. User roles define different type of users who interact with the system, each with specific responsibilities and permissions. User goals are objectives or tasks that users aim to achieve while interacting with the system. So for every software application, there will be different user roles. These user roles will have some unique goals, and some of the users may have some overlapping goals also. So let us understand these user roles and user goals with some examples. I take an example of a net meeting software like GoToMeeting. GoToMeeting is a very popular net meeting software, similar to Microsoft Teams and similar to Zoom. In GoToMeeting, the user roles are organizer, co-organizer, presenter, and a participant. So the organizer can create a meeting. He can initiate the meeting on that given date and time. He can end the meeting. He has other control over permissions, say, for example, meeting settings, meeting link, and all. He can add the co-organizer. As he adds the co-organizer in this meeting, the co-organizer gets similar rights. However, he cannot create the meeting. The presenter is some individual who can present it during the meeting. Now you can see the presenter, the co-organizer, and the organizer, all these can have rights to present it during the meeting, whereas a participant may not have that right. So presenter can share the screen. Presenter can transmit, can his voice using a full-fledged presentation. So he can share the screen, he can have a whiteboard, he can control the presentation flow. The participant has got different set of goals. However, there could be a facility that an organizer or a co-organizer can promote a participant to a presenter. Then he will have all the roles and rights for a presenter. So now, whenever we will start with our business analysis activity, we will focus on requirements. Requirements are goals. And to understand these goals, we need to think in terms of user roles. This is the, now you are developing the understanding for the project. And please understand that we need to be true to the vocabulary. Everyone has to be in same sync when it comes to the vocabulary. If, for example, here I am using the word organizer and co-organizer. For some other system, for some other situation, software, someone may use the word host and the co-host. So it does not matter much, but everyone in the team and the client should agree upon this vocabulary. So as a business analyst, when you identify these user roles, when you do the requirement documentation, a uniform vocabulary is also important, which everyone in the team and the end users and the client should adhere to. Otherwise, there will be constant confusion. So a view on the role goal matrix. I will provide you a well-formed role goal matrix after the class, but just you can understand. Identify the software roles and identify the software goals. Here, you need to understand that a software role is not a title of hierarchy in the system, in the organization. Say, for example, think of a library management software. In the library management software, let us say for the library, there is a librarian and there is a deputy librarian. But while this librarian and deputy librarian utilize the library management system or the library management software, if all the goals which both the individuals can carry out are exactly the same, then in the software system, we will not have two roles, that of a librarian and a deputy librarian. We will have only one role, whatever we may call that as. We may call that as a librarian, say, for example. So, so please understand, these roles will have some goals, some interlinking. Let us understand and take some more examples on user roles. Say, for example, in an e-learning system, there could be a student who has to enroll in the course, who has to complete the assignment, who has to basically have submissions. Now, these goals may vary from one e-learning system to another. This is your responsibility as a business analyst to complete up this list. Instructor, as I've told you earlier, in one e-learning system, we may call this person as an instructor. In yet another e-learning system, this person may be called as a trainer or a faculty. Now, an instructor has to manage the course content, upgrade the course content, create a course, publish a course, and all these things. Administrator, say for example, guest, and maybe some other user roles. So what you need to do, identify the roles for the system for which you are doing business analysis, identify some goals, and start with what is known as a role goal matrix. Say, for example, a bank ATM system, customer, bank staff, and security personnel. But here, please understand, these user roles are basically individuals who are interacting with the system. System interaction is important. They who do not interact with the system are not our end user or users. Users have to interact with the system. Online e-commerce system, say a customer, a seller, an administrator, and a delivery person, and there could be many more. It is not that these are only these roles. Systems could be simple, systems could be complex. Whether a system, if a system is simple, we will allocate lesser time to business analysis. Lesser time will be provided to you. If a system is complex, accordingly, the work will be, the quantum of work will be higher. The team may be bigger, and the amount available or time available to you will also be high. A food delivery app, say a customer, a restaurant. Say here, delivery driver is being used, whereas you see in India, delivery partner is a preferred word. In an administrator who manages the app. So now I can tell you all these roles are not final. These are only indicative roles for your application, for your situation. You need to identify the user roles exhaustively, and you need to identify user goals, and you need to come up with something like this. I'm showing you it in Excel, what you need to prepare. Just give me a minute. I'm starting Excel. Okay, so come up here. If I can find something here. Role. I'll create this, and then later on I have this. Role 1. Rather, I will put roles here because number of roles will be limited compared to number of goals. This matrix which you will prepare will be a very powerful matrix, and it is a very solid start to your project. Say, for example, and then we may write yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, like this. This means role 1 can carry out goal 1. Now I will give you an example. I am duplicating this sheet. Just I'll write it here. Let us say for a net meeting software, I hope you are able to follow what is being created here. This is a very powerful output. I will provide you some more. So I stop here. Please confirm that you are able to appreciate whatever has been covered so far.
Yes. Whatever has been covered so far, I'm able to understand. Thank you.
Okay. So now whenever you will be given a project, let us say a software project, you will identify software roles, you will identify associated goals, and among the very first outputs will be role goal matrix. Software requirements, specifically functional requirements of software, are goals which end users accomplish through the software. Okay. So I take you back. We were here. So what is requirements engineering? A specialist branch of computer science that encompasses the tasks that go into determining requirements of a new or an altered solution. Requirements, and the whole crux of this slide is, if you do not do requirements right, the project may face cost overrun, time overrun, client dissatisfaction, and the client may even cancel the project. I will again repeat, if you do not do requirements right, if you do not capture all the requirements, if you do not deliver the client requirements, the project may face cost overrun, it may face time overrun, it may face client dissatisfaction, the client may even cancel the project, and it will have catastrophic effect. So again, what is the requirement? As I have told you, requirements are goals which end users accomplish through system. So this is yet another definition, a bit more clearer. Expected capability from a software system in terms of a process functionality or a non-functional requirement. So the goals which I have mentioned is basically the process functionality or the functional requirement. What are non-functional requirements that I will shortly explain. And all this is a structured process. So it is an interaction between the business analyst and the client, business analyst and other stakeholders, so that all these requirements are elicited, uncovered, analyzed, documented, and validated. But there is a method to this process. We will see what that method is. Approximately 14 to 18% of total project resources go towards the requirement. And there is no standard method to complete the requirements process, but then there are some key ingredients. What are those ingredients? Requirements. So now this is the requirements process. Requirements formulation and elicitation. So formulation is doing the homework. The homework which you will do before you start interacting with the client. Elicitation is the process where you elicit or you take out requirements from the client. Analysis is basically applying your mind, applying your thought, applying your rationale to the requirements which have been elicited from the client. Basis elicitation and analysis, you start documenting the project. The documents and your outputs are to be validated by the client. These validated documents and this activity is requirements validation. These validated documents form the basis of project development. As the project will progress, some requirements may change, some new requirements may get added up. This activity is called, handling this change is called requirements management. So there are these 5 key steps: formulation and elicitation, analysis, validation, and management. This is, though I have mentioned numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, this is both sequential and simultaneous. It means while you might be doing some elicitation, you might take up some documentation or you might take up some analysis. So these are key steps. Let us start with how we do our background study. The background study for the project is done on the basis of available documents. So what could be those available documents? There could be a contract which the client and the IT vendor would have gone into. A client might have published a request for proposal, and the IT vendor would have submitted a proposal against this RFP. So what you do, you study existing documents. You study some documents which client might have prepared. Say, for example, a business requirement document might have been prepared by the client. A project title, vision, or mission document might have been prepared by the client. Some earlier client interaction which would have happened, you might not be part of it, but let's say the sales manager is part of it. Then your own prior experience, rules which are there, which are related to the business or which are related to domain. So say, for example, if it is a banking project, fundamental banking concepts may not change. Fundamental concepts, let us say, for e-commerce may not change. So your experience, existing documents, existing client interaction will allow you to do the homework. I hope you guys are aware of this word RFP, request for proposal.
Yes, Vijay, I am. Yeah.
Okay, so I will share with you a sample. I will write down my list what I need to share with you. Just a minute for that. So I will share with you an RFP, a role goal matrix. So that I remember that this is what I need to share with you after the class. Now, elicitation. Elicitation is the typical activity, and this is an overview lecture. So we are we will be going fast, but this requirements is a full track. So we will be doing learning elicitation in detail. We will be doing role play and all. In fact, this program has got multiple UC tracks. Requirements is a very important. Elicitation is the process to draw response in a formal manner. So what we do as a business analyst, we identify and engage with the stakeholder, identify and engage with department. And then as a business analyst, we utilize techniques like interviews, surveys, focus groups. We prepare, you see, wireframes, etc. So all these are elicitation techniques, formal techniques, which help us identify or uncover the requirement, which help us refine and develop the requirement. And now these requirements will get into, say, for example, an output like a role goal matrix, or we may prepare, I am writing it here. You can just have a look. We may prepare something like a requirements register. Or if we are following a project which follows Scrum or Agile method, we may prepare a product plan. Now, what is the requirements register or what is the product backlog? Let us understand this. So far, I have told you that you can start with preparing a role goal matrix. Now I have come up with yet another output related to requirement. Let us call that as a requirements register or a requirements catalog. To understand what is a requirement register or what is a requirement catalog, we need to understand the attributes of requirement. So I take you to attributes of requirement. On this. Attributes of requirement. So as a business analyst, you have to document these requirements, elicit these requirements, and while you document, these documents will be referred by all the stakeholders, especially the client and the development. So how do we come up with our first output? So this is a requirement attribute. So every requirement will be provided a requirement ID, a unique ID through which the requirement will be tracked and traced during the project. Every requirement will be provided a title. So title means a specific title. Say, for example, a title could be, instead of create the meeting, the title could be meeting creation, a crisp verb. So every requirement will have an author. So you can write your name as an author. Every requirement will have a source who has basically provided you this requirement. So a client name will come here. Then there will be a detailed description of the requirement. Now, what is the priority, high, medium, or low? What is the type of this requirement? Whether it is a, so far, I have told you there are two types of requirement, functional requirement, which are typical goals, and non-functional requirements, as we will learn shortly, reliability, availability, maintainability, safety, security, etc. Then this requirement may be part of a client department, whether, say, for example, for an insurance application, underwriting department or claims department, etc. which module of software does this get into? If we are utilizing the Scrum method, in the Scrum method, the software is developed in multiple iterations. Every iteration is identified by the sprint number. What is the status of this requirement? Whether it has been delivered, whether it is under development, whether it is yet to be taken. Who has approved the requirement? Who has verified the requirement? What if there is a given development team and a given developer which has been assigned to this department? Who is the tester? What is the release number in which this requirement is being made available to the end user? Who owns the requirement? Vendor owner is basically the IT vendor, and who is the client owner? Basically the operations manager. So this is basically, these are requirement attributes. If you spread all these attributes in an Excel sheet, then you will see that you can manage these requirements, or you can basically document, track these requirements utilizing an Excel sheet. So this is again, this is how you start developing your project. So this is the requirements register. We were here. So we will engage with our stakeholders. Stakeholders are typically and client, end users, anyone who get affected by the outcome of the project. We will elicit requirements and we will start to prepare the requirements register. We will start to prepare the role goal matrix. We will have something in our hand to discuss. And if it is a long project, you may prepare the role goal matrix upfront, much of it, but the requirements register, let us say if it is a Scrum project where this requirements register is called as a product backlog, it will be an emergent document. That is, as the project will progress, you will keep on updating the product backlog. I stop here and I have to take the pulse of the class as to how you are able to catch up and understand the concept. Because if you can understand the concept, you can work on one or more projects. Mr. Samir, are you there in the class? Are you with me?
Yes, Vijay.
I hope these concepts are now clear to you.
Yeah, it's I'm clear, but still, I will after the class I'll go through your recording or the notes what you shared.
Sure. All what you need after this is basically identify some known or unknown project and start working on it. So that is only investment of time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Mr. Ahmad M, are you able to hear? Are you comfortable?
Yes, Vijay. So far, I'm able to follow everything. And like Samir said, I will also go through the recording and also go through the notes and the content on the website. And then I'll come back to you if I have any questions.
Sure, sure.
Most
And
of the attributes what you are talking about is something new for me. Okay, so I need to still understand them in the context of the projects, how I would relate to that. And that is the reason, okay, what you have taken us through all this while, okay, we are able to understand. But once I spend more time on studying your presentation, I think I will grab the concept much better.
okay. So far, so good. And these concepts are simple. Our job is to focus on requirements. We are basically coming up with quick outputs so that we have something to share with our clients and something what we can basically control and track.
Uh, Also, Vijay, I just wanted to add here that we appreciate that you are taking the first class a little slowly and you're giving us time to understand the concept. So we appreciate that because although I have an IT background, but still this is something totally new for me. So I appreciate that we are having a slow understanding start. And then as we progress, maybe we can go faster. But right now, I think this pace is good. Just wanted to give you that feedback.
Thank you, thank you. I speak slow, but the pace of this program is very fast. Because
Uh,
you see, every week we will be learning something new.
yes,
Maybe
yes, of
sometimes in
course.
every session, yeah. So
Yeah,
so
of course.
I can promise that this program moves at a very fast pace.
Good,
Only
good, good.
one only 1 or 2 weeks you may think that it is picking up, but that is what the feedback which I have received from earlier participants.
Yes. So as long as we are following and understanding the, whatever pace it is, it will make sense as long as we are able to follow.
Yeah, okay. Let us proceed. So requirements formulation, which is basically doing the background study of available documents, then requirement elicitation, which is basically engaging with the stakeholders, interviewing them, talking to them, learning from their existing processes so that we develop the requirement. Then there is analysis. As we receive requirements or as we elicit requirements from our client, we have to analyze these requirements. Sometimes there could be a conflict in terms of a priority, that whether this particular requirement may be delivered in release sprint 3 or sprint 5. Conflict in terms of, say, for example, additional security versus number of steps which are there in the process. So we have to see what are the conflicts. There, we may have to prioritize these requirements. As we now a goal for a given requirement, let us say, is to withdraw cash from an ATM machine. For an account holder, this is the goal. Now, this goal is accomplished via number of steps, which is a process. So we need to identify the process steps. And as we design the process steps for accomplishing a goal, our user interface may change. Then we also need to classify the requirement according to project module, according to client department. We may need to classify in scope and out of scope. There could be some requirements which the client would have asked for us to accomplish, but they may be simply out of scope. Then identify at the preliminary level linkage between requirements and design. Requirements dictate design. A simple analogy, let's say from automobile industry, if I am to have a vehicle which has to run at a top speed of 250 kilometers per hour, it may have a different engine, it may have a different chassis. Similarly, if we want a software for which there are, say, for example, 5 million concurrent users, the kind of servers which may be required, the kind of, you see, the database which we may utilize will be different compared to, say, for example, yet another software which may have only maximum 5,000 concurrent users. A software which will be made for banking, which will be more secure. So preliminary level linkage between requirements and design. Design is the domain of the software or designer. But sometimes requirements dictate design. If we have a multilingual application, the design will be different. If we have an application which is to be delivered in a single language, the design will be different. Now, here we also reconfirm the technical deployment environment. Technical deployment environment is identified or is established while the project is awarded. But at the start of the project, you can reconfirm this again. There is an output, which is deployment diagram. You focus on business requirements and rules, stakeholder type requirements, user interface and human machine interface requirements, environmental requirements, negotiable and non-negotiable requirements. Some requirements are non-negotiable. Say, for example, let us say there is an online exam and we are delivering a online exam software for the same. So delivery date, because the exam has already been announced, may be non-negotiable. There are some core steps in a process. And without those core goals, the software is as good as dead. So those are non-negotiable requirements or core requirements. Say, for example, what we will do with a food delivery app if the functionality for ordering food is not available, or what will we do with an ATM machine if we are not, if the key functionality or core functionality of taking out cash is not being provided. Data and digitization requirements. Then we also divide requirements between functional and non-functional categories. So functional requirements are reliability, availability, maintainability, safety, security. And there are other non-functional requirements which are scalability, accessibility, and privacy. So you can remember this with an acronym. Reliability, availability, maintainability, safety, security, then scalability, accessibility, and privacy. I will address these non-functional requirements. So the process was
Vijay, could you just type sellability, accessibility also over there so that we have it in the notes?
I will I have slides which address all these. I can write it here also so that it is.
Thank you. Sometimes, like after the abbreviation, after the class, it's hard to recall the abbreviations.
I agree. I agree. I have slides which basically focus on these non-functional requirements. We move ahead. Then, uh, then whatever we would have elicited and analyzed, now is the time to document our requirement. I have also mentioned to you that these steps are sequential as well as simultaneous. If, for example, when you are to prepare a role goal matrix and when you will start to prepare a role goal matrix, you will not wait to mm, elicit all the requirements. This is your experience. You will start with the role goal matrix. You can even start populating the requirements catalog. But I have told you the actual requirements or the detailed requirements or specific requirements are to come from the client. So after elicitation and analysis, we are working on documents. Some documents should come from the client. Some documents are prepared by business analyst. Some documents will be prepared by other roles. So let us see what these documents are. Very quickly, we will focus on these documents. What are the documents which are prepared on a project? Now, think of a project. This project can be, if I insert a text box here, text box, pre-project, project, project, and post-project. Think of these three key phases. What are the documents which get prepared before the project? What are the documents which get prepared during the project? And what are the documents which we may need prepare and need after the project? Then even within the project, we have project start, project. And project end. This is how you should understand. And of course, you should know who is going to prepare these documents. So say, for example, now with this light, you can focus on these documents. Okay. So RFI or a business case. So business case is basically the business justification why we should carry out this project. Business case is prepared by the client or by the business case is approved by the sponsor, and there will be some individual from within the corporate department of the client which will prepare the business case. Then there is and this is one is a pre-project document. Then there is a feasibility study, request for proposal, tender, a contract. All these are again prepared before the award of the project. And business analyst is not involved here. The client is identifying, working on his requirements, his vision, etc. And they are basically coming up with these documents. Then there is a contract. While we are awarding the project, there will be a contract. There will be a project plan. There will be a resource plan. So contract is a pre-project document. Project plan and resource plan are prepared at the start, project start. So see here, documents 1 and 2, RFI, business case, feasibility study, request for proposal, tender, contract, all these are prepared by the client, and responsible individuals are sponsor, project champion, all those who are involved with client. The 3, document number 3, contract, project plan, resource plan. Both the parties are involved, especially in the contract. The IT vendor and client are involved in the project plan and the resource plan. How the project will get delivered, what are the resources which are required. So all these documents are prepared at the project start. You will not be, you may have the handle and you may be reading these documents, but you are not expected to prepare any of these documents. Then there is number 4, business requirement document. We will see what a business requirement document is. A client may prepare if he has done that homework, otherwise the business analyst will prepare. Document 5, minutes for meeting or interview notes. As you will elicit the requirements, as you will basically participate in meetings, you may have to prepare this. A requirement catalog. A requirement catalog will be prepared by the business analyst. Now I hope you understand what is a requirement catalog. What we will do, we will spread these attributes in an Excel sheet. And this will become the requirement catalog. So an Excel sheet or a register where we are basically managing all the requirements and tracking all the requirements and updating the requirement status. Business analyst, a functional specification. So a functional specification document will also be prepared by the client. So functional specification by the business analyst, not the client. Functional specification document will fully feature the functional requirements or goals of the project. What last session I showed you a functional specification document. I will share IFSD with you also today. High level design, low level design, and code documentation is being taken up by the software design team. SRS, which is software requirement specification. So, or system requirements. So, functional requirements will come here. In the system requirements, we may address non-functional requirements and also basically the technical configuration of the project. So, say for example, what are the specification of the hardware? What is the specification of the database? What is the kind of network which will be utilized? Whether we are having our own servers or whether our project will be hosted on something like AWS. Release notes. With every sprint, if there are changes, if there are new deliverables, whatever those changes are, those will be mentioned in form of release notes. So release notes number 10, if you can see 8, 9 and 10, 8 is the HLD, LLD, 9 is the SRS and 10 is the release note, is the domain of the project manager and architect. More so, there are some situations where business analyst is also preparing the SRS. Or sometimes there is one single document which is IFSD and SRS. Business analyst may prepare that, but he will seek input from the technical team. Implementation manual. How the software will get implemented in the client side. All those mentioned will be here. So, user manual. Issue register. For the user manual, we may have a technical writer. As a business analyst, on one of my initial project, when I knew little about business analysis, I was given the task of preparing a user manual. My managers identified that what I can do when I was very new to business analysis, that I can prepare, do some manual testing and write a user manual. Of course, that was subject to review and revision by my director, but at least that was something which I can contribute immediately when I was so new to the business analysis discipline. Issue register. Now, what is issue register? Issue register will talk about, you see, some defects, some bugs, some difficulties which are being faced while the project proceeds and while the project gets implemented. So this is the issue register. Client appreciation letter. Client appreciation letter is something what you may ask from the client time to time. Completion certificate for the project. So these are some of the documents. You can identify, classify these documents as pre-project, project, during the project and post-project. Say for example, completion certificate is post-project. RFI and the business case is the pre-project. And if you can take a snapshot of this slide, you can basically, as you take the snapshot, you can remember the documents and remember what are some of the documents which you need to prepare. Whatever
Vijay,
gets,
Vijay,
yeah,
just
tell me.
to understand the role of a business analyst, like
Yes,
is it a business analyst who has to prepare all these documents, or is it a project manager who has to prepare this? Like, I feel some of the requirements may be prepared by the project management
no,
manager.
you see here 4, 5, 6. Can you see where my
Yes,
cursor
yes,
is?
yes. 4,
You see
5,
here.
6, 7. I got it. I'm checking that cursor.
Yeah.
And okay, these are the documents wherein the business analyst has to put his role. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Mhm. I got it. Okay. Okay. Project
Uh,
manager, I see that.
okay, so Vijay, you will be sharing these slides with us, right?
Yes, yes. You will get all this slide.
Okay, and the other thing, these abbreviations like FSD, SRS, are those mentioned somewhere, or like, because like I said, after the class we might not be able to recall
I
these
can, I can,
abbreviations.
I can, I can understand. So allow me to understand your background once again, so that I will be able to. What have you been working on an IT in an IT company earlier, or this will be your first job while you will work with an
Uh,
IT vendor?
no, I've been working in IT for last 10 years, but I've been mostly on the server side. I've worked with Linux and Windows machines.
Okay, perfect. So if you have been working in an IT environment, I can tell you very quickly, you will be able to catch up. In any case, these recordings will be available to you. One thing which I can tell you, for which you need to basically be you have to be a little vigilant while you start. Later on, it will become part and parcel of your life. Say, for example, say FSD. In some company, we will call it as a functional specification document. In yet another company, we will call it as FRD, functional requirement document. In yet another company, we may mix FSD and SRS 7 and 9, and we may call it, say, for example, again, we may call it as a FSD. So what we need to do, we need to be true to our context of whatever project. So you need to align with the vocabulary of your organization. One, because this vocabulary is not very hard vocabulary. It varies with client to client, company to company. But the concepts remain the same. Functional requirement, and I will show what these requirements are. Functional requirement, non-functional requirement, system requirement. So, maybe 1, 2, or 3 lectures, all this vocabulary will be clear to you.
Vijay,
For
just
now,
to recall like, even though we discussed in the last call, like, for that IT background,
I am not. I am not able to hear. Can you repeat? Your
okay.
voice is not clear.
My background, okay, even though I did mention in the previous call we had, but I have more of a non-IT experience than an IT experience, okay, and I'm just looking into a transition into an IT, role or IT
Yeah.
industry. All right. So I have been into project management roles on a
Okay.
non-IT side, but now I'm looking to transition into an IT role as a business analyst or a any of the project management role where I could fit. So just to be clear enough, for you.
Yeah. Doesn't matter all what you do. You see, everyone has got some starting point. Let us
Yeah.
say you have been working on projects. This
Yeah.
is also a project with some specific vocabulary. So
I got it. Yes.
so just you be true to this vocabulary and you apply all your prior experience.
Okay.
Only conflict will happen when you do not stick to this vocabulary.
Yes.
That is
Okay.
the only situation when people may misunderstand you.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were here. Requirement. So whatever we will document, it has to be validated. Who will validate? Client. How he will validate? By putting his seal, signature, and stamp. So there is no such thing like informal validation. How does this validation happen? This validation happens time to time, and also this validation happens in form of a formal document. So say for example, when we prepare a functional requirement document, let's say for a given phase, so the client has to sign the full document, basically approve the document. Having said that, we will not wait for another 3 months to present him the full document. We will be sharing part outputs with him time to time so that he is basically going through the outputs and he is approving it. Then requirements management. Requirements will change. New requirements will come up. Some unexpected situations may come up. So all this has to be managed. All this has to be documented. So that activity is requirements management. Requirements formulation and elicitation, analysis, documentation, validation, and management. And you are the owner of this process. Now we move on to non-functional requirements. Reliability, availability, maintainability, safety, security, scalability, accessibility, and privacy. Let's understand these concepts quickly. Reliability. I will show you. Your computations have to be reliable. They have to be accurate. If we are using computing, say for example, rate of interest, it has to be correct. That is reliability. Availability. Availability is basically the percentage of time whether the software is available 99.8% of the time. So that is basically in mm, in every year we have 365 days and 24 hours. So of these 365 days into 24 hours, how many hours the software was available? So that percentage is availability. Maintainability. Maintainability is that aspect of software that we can come up with the new release or the new version without bringing the software down. Say, for example, when I am using this PowerPoint, it is a highly maintainable software. Time to time, I basically receive new updates, and these updates are installed on my computer with the minimum of downtime, not even 2-3 minutes in a month, and it is always available. If I click on update now, it will get updated. That's it. Sometimes for some banking applications, you see there are time to time updates, but then what they do, they typically mm, bring down the software, let's say at odd hours, say for example, 12 a.m. in the morning until 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. I am using Microsoft Teams right now. So Microsoft Teams will also is a highly available software. It is highly maintainable also because generally it does not go down. Safety. Safety is one aspect of software where while you utilize the software, it should not endanger human life. It should not, you see, endanger the end user. Some software may have a safety aspect, some software may not have a safety aspect. Say, for example, while I am using PowerPoint, it has got, you see, availability requirements, maintainability requirements, but I am not much concerned about, you see, safety issues. Whereas a software, let us say, which is being utilized in a hospital, and let us say, which is being utilized in some department, like, say, for example, nuclear medicine, wherein, say, in a nuclear medicine department, sometimes some radioisotope may be injected in the patient's body, and then these radio and the quantum of radioisotopes is identified utilizing the height, weight, age, gender of the person, and according to that, the quantum of radioisotope is calculated. So if you inject that radioisotope in a very small quantity, that's fine. But if you provide an overdose, it may become cancer. So for here is the safety aspect. Similarly, for aircraft applications, there could be a safety aspect. Security. Is your application secure? Is my data secure? Are the transactions secure? And scalability. Scalability is basically how many number of concurrent users can utilize. Accessibility. Accessibility is a very, you see, very popular non-functional requirement. If your software accessible to people who may have some special abilities, who may have some limitation, I will demonstrate an accessibility feature right now. Say, for example, there might be someone who might not have the ability to type. Say, for example, he is having some difficulty in his muscles, motor movement. For this, there is this feature, dictate. I click on the dictate, you can see it is now it. Hello, PowerPoint. I am checking the accessibility feature here. While I check the accessibility feature available here, I am utilizing the speech to text feature. Someone or some end user who may not be able to type but can dictate can utilize this feature. Now, this is one feature. Someone who may not able to read, there are screen readers who can basically read this. There is something called a Windows screen reader available within Windows, which can be utilized here. So this is accessibility. Then privacy. Within privacy, whether your whatever you have shared, whether it is private or not, whether it is secure or not, all this is privacy. So requirements are of two types: functional requirements and non-functional requirements. Specifically, you are the owner of the functional requirement. Non-functional requirements will also be documented by you. But how they are going to get delivered, that is the domain of the project manager or the domain of the software design. Now let us focus on types of requirements. What are various types of requirements? For this, you see here the requirements hierarchy. This is again a very important slide. Enterprise. Enterprise requirement, business requirement, solution requirement, functional and non-functional requirement. I will explain all these requirements, then we will come back to this slide. Types of requirement. Enterprise, business, solution, functional, non-functional, system, and transition. Before I start this area, if you have any question, you can speak.
No, Vijay, I don't have any questions at this point.
Okay. You see, it's so easy. Yeah, Samir, please continue.
Yes, Vijay, I was, I'm done with our today's session. It's still continuing.
11 p.m.
Yeah, it's just
It is,
4 minutes remaining. That's why I want to check with you.
yeah, it is 10:27 p.m. We will normally continue until 11 p.m. For some days, we may
Okay, so it will be up to another 30 minutes, right?
another 30 minutes. You are there.
Okay, got it. No, that's fine. I thought that you are closing the one, but
No, no, no,
I
not
assume it to
closing.
be up to 12 p.m., 9:30 to 10:30
Yeah.
to
What
12.
is the, what is, you see, today I will also prepare a WhatsApp group for the batch, and I will
Okay,
also basically note down your
fine.
cities in your country and also the time which is there in your country, so that I am also aware of
Okay,
your
that's fine.
time zone. So
No,
so then it will be easier for us to you see
okay,
coordinate. Yeah.
right. No, I remember you telling us 10:30 to 12 or 9 to 10:30
No,
in
9 to
your
no, no 9 no no 9 to 11. This
9
is
to
what
11.
I
Okay,
have in
got
my
it.
mind. Yeah, 9 to 11
Fine.
Saturday and 9 to 11 on Sunday.
That's fine. Then I just want to ask you, the video library what you have shared, the videos which are there are a pre-recorded videos of your previous sessions, right? Those will not be the current video recording what we are doing for this session.
Of course, yes.
So
You
if I
see,
need to go through the video of this recording, where could we be able to access them?
you will, as you have registered in this session, this
Yes.
recording will come to you in your email.
Okay. So at the end of every session, we'll receive the recording in the email.
Email, yes. And
All
this
right.
recording will generally be available to you for something like 4 or 5 months. This is how Microsoft manages it.
Okay, got it. The course content, what you discuss in your pre-recorded videos and what you're taking us through is the same, right? Or is there difference in
You
the
see, you
presentations or
see,
the
almost the same. What I deliver here is up to date. Up to date
okay,
in the
fine.
sense
So with some
it
changes, you keep on changing your presentations or
yes, yes. Because you
your
see,
content.
yes, yes. So content is so the thought process. I'll tell you the hierarchy. The thought process which we discuss is up to date here. For
Okay,
you, as you go through, say for example, there is a section on the overview of requirements in the you or to put it in simple words, you have to go through all the videos in the video library because there could be some concept which I may not touch here, something extra there and something extra here.
I got it. So like in
Yeah.
general, like it's good for us to even go through that video library in in our available time, as well as follow your the current session, right?
Yes, yes. So say
I'll
for
say knowledge
example,
base. The video
yeah,
library is more like a knowledge base library.
it is, but it is essential.
Yes. Okay.
If you do not go through that, you may miss upon some important topic.
Okay. I got it. So.
Yeah. Okay. So now we discuss types of requirements. So far, I have told you that requirements are goals which end user accomplish to the software system. And our context is a software system or a software application. We have also touched upon functional requirements, which are end user goals, and non-functional requirements, which are basically requirements like reliability, availability, maintainability, safety, security, accessibility, scalability, privacy, etc. But when we come to this requirement hierarchy, there are some more concepts. So let us understand these concepts. Enterprise requirements. So these requirements emanate or come out of enterprise requirements. Because only when the enterprise will have a goal, we will implement some software. The enterprise requirements are high level needs of the organization that align with its strategic. So say, for example, let us say there is a company which is a retail chain of grocery, vegetables, etc., etc. Now, this retail company wants to expand its online presence to increase by its market share in next few years. So this retail company wants to increase the market share, and one way which it has identified that we need to be present online also. So this is an enterprise requirement. Software is yet to get into picture. In fact, because they have identified that we have an online presence, we will have say something like an e-commerce portal. Also. But this is enterprise. Now, for enterprise requirements, there to cater to this enterprise requirement, we may have to identify several business requirements. So say, for example, one business requirement could be to come up with an e-commerce platform. Now it is an umbrella thing. Within this e-commerce platform, if we are to develop an e-commerce platform, we may have to hire people. We may have to, you see, contract or get into an arrangement with, say, a company which is into delivering these e-commerce goods and inventory. We may have to do for to cater to this enterprise requirement, we may have to do 20, 30, 40, 100, identify 20, 30, 40, 100 business requirements. So one business requirement could be a well-trained workforce. Now for a well-trained workforce, we may need a, say for example, e-learning portal. Yet another business requirement could be quick and accurate hiring. For quick and accurate hiring, we may require, say, a portal which can test the ability of the candidate. Let us say if we are to hire in large numbers. And not only we need to test the ability of the candidate, we may also need a company which can design these tests. So one enterprise requirement is leading to multiple business requirements. And one such business requirement out here is to have an e-commerce portal. Now, for this e-commerce portal, which is the solution, we will have multiple goals. So a goal could be in the area of payment. A goal could be in the area of how we are going to display the merchandise. So enterprise requirement, business requirement, then large goals of this solution, what we are going to implement to cater to the business requirement. A solution will not be able to address all the business requirements, will be able to address one or more business requirements. Then this solution will have functional requirement and the non-functional requirement. So the functional requirement for an e-commerce system will be to add items to the cart, to browse products, to shortlist products, to come to provide an address where the one or more address where the item is to be delivered, to provide your user profile and things like that. So functional. And then non-functional requirements, as I have told you, reliability, availability, maintainability, safety, security. So say, for example, the e-commerce platform must load pages within 2 seconds and must be available 99.9% of the time. Many of these software applications to basically wherein they would like to identify that it is you who is carrying out the transaction. They send an SMS to your mobile phone. Now this mobile phone has to reach, they send a basically OTP, not and they send an OTP via an SMS. So now you have to provide this OTP to the screen within a stipulated time. But that also means that the OTP should reach within permissible time limits to your mobile phone. So all these are non-functional requirements. Then there are system requirements. So system requirement may include, say, for example, how the system interacts with other systems, how it is related to them. System requirements may also include the technology stack. For example, whether you are using a SQL server, Microsoft SQL server database or an Oracle database, whether the hardware which will be utilized for the solution will come from HP or whether it is going to come from IBM. What are the specifications for that? All these system requirements are identified by software architects and software designers. You may be required to document these requirements, but all what you need to do is to go through the existing documents and to talk to these individuals. Going through documents will not be enough. Of course, you have to communicate with these individuals just in case you are expected to prepare the system specification document also. Then have a look at this slide. I will stop here. Have a look at this slide. There are 3 examples. Requirement type, general example, an example for a bank. Let us say a bank where the bank has got a license and now it has an aim to become a retail banking player within next 10 years. An example from a healthcare system. Then you can see how business requirement, solution requirement, functional requirement, non-functional requirement, and system requirement can be identified. I give you some time, you can read this slide. And here we can, I am available to discuss also. So there is an overlap, I can tell you, between solution requirement and functional requirement and non-functional requirement. You can just think that the solution will have functional requirement, non-functional requirement, and there is yet another set which I will explain. Now I take you to the requirement hierarchy. Again,
Vijay,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
I was trying to, when I was going to understand this one, I could not relate the business requirement between a general example, new example, and the healthcare system. Like,
So there is a,
still,
you see, this is a new
like, we are
bank.
talking about banking, right? Then suddenly, like, what is the
So,
requirement of the healthcare with the bank here?
no, no, these are two different examples.
Okay,
One is, so far, we have discussed an example for an e-commerce platform. Then there is a bank, which is basically, which has received a license. Now, when you have received the license, when you have an aim that you want to become among the top 5 retail banking players in next 10 years, this is your enterprise goal or an enterprise requirement. Now, everything will be taken up keeping in mind this goal. Healthcare is a different industry, different example. Let us
okay,
say if you are working in some other industry, you can identify that with your industry also. So these are some examples just to understand how this hierarchy flows.
okay.
There is one more set of requirement, which is transition requirement. Transition requirement are temporary. So while we are understand the concept, while we are implementing the system, let us say we are implementing a e-learning system, new e-learning system for a company which has got 400,000 employees, which is, and these employees are located across multiple geographies, multiple roles. Some of these 400 employees, some are, you see, very much qualified, highly tech savvy. Some others are just runners in the field. So while we implement the system, we may have to train the user. We may have to onboard the user. So this is a set of requirements which are there while we transition from old system to the new system, or while we are implementing the system. So training, new user onboarding, deployment, sometimes even data migration, all that is part of the transition requirement. So transition requirements are temporary in nature. They, while we implement, we focus on transition requirement. Now I take you to the requirement hierarchy back and again. Now you see here. Enterprise requirement. My enterprise, why do I exist? What are my goals? So we start with top, vision and mission. From vision and mission, we identify one or more enterprise requirements. Now from these enterprise requirements, we will identify multiple set of business requirements. Say, for example, to be number one bank or to be among the top 5 players in the banking industry in next 10 years, we may require to hire people. We may require n number of branches, banking branches, which are there to serve the customers. We may require to have so many regulatory compliances and so many n number of activities. So all these will be clubbed into a set of business requirements. Maybe focused towards infrastructure, maybe focused towards employee hiring and employee training, maybe focused towards managing the treasury. Then for a given set of business requirements, if a software application is implemented, we will have solution requirements. And these solution requirements will be linked to the stakeholders, individual stakeholders, if they have any requirement. And solution requirements will have functional requirements, non-functional requirements, transition requirements, and system requirements. Now, I think you understand what are functional requirements, what are non-functional requirements, what are transition requirements, and what are system requirements. Within functional requirements, this is something which you need to address. It is not the exact hierarchy, but what may come up while you work in a project, a brand new functionality. Let us say something which has not been part of the project earlier, and we are providing some new functionality in our system. Say, for example, let's say in the e-commerce system, buy now, pay later feature was not available. Now we are providing a buy now, pay later feature at the time of the checkout. So this is new functionality. Enhancement. Sometimes the functionality is also already available, but we provide some enhancement. Let us say, and sometimes there is an overlap also. Let us say we have a functionality that the food can be delivered for an e-commerce food delivery app at the client's address. But let us say we add an enhancement that the client or the customer is able to maintain and manage multiple addresses, so that sometimes he gets it delivered at house number 1 and yet another time at house number 2. Now you could say that this is a full-fledged functionality and not a minor change, which we can call as enhancement. So enhancements are small changes in already available functionality. Let us say earlier we were having a residence telephone number and a mobile number, and we were using the same mobile number as the WhatsApp number. But let's say we identify that so many people are utilizing yet another number for WhatsApp. So a small enhancement could be in the customer profile or in the profile of that particular person. We are adding a WhatsApp number also. So as such, it is not a major change. As such, we have not missed upon any functionality, just an additional change is being done. Then sometimes whatever functional requirement which we would have delivered, we might have delivered it incorrect. Some problem in computation, some unusual, unexpected behavior which should not be there. So all that is a bug or a defect. And retrofitting. Retrofitting is basically you retrofit your solution to a different platform, a different operating system. That is retrofitting. So this is the requirement landscape or requirement hierarchy. Our role comes here when we act as a business analyst and identify business requirement, non-functional requirement, transition requirement, and system requirement. So there is still some time, but if you would like to have a discussion, we can utilize this time for discussion.
Vijay, I was, thinking about before the start of the session, like daily session, is it any possible that you could be sending us this presentation so that, a day before, so that we could at least go through it and we know what is
I
going
will
to come up and we
I
can
will
come up with,
provide
because
that.
I'm a slow learner. Okay. So I would, when you're taking me to the slides, maybe by the time I understand, to understand the concept, you're moving to the next slide. Okay. With your regular standard space. So if I
Okay,
could
I
go
will
to this
provide to the
slides
yeah, yeah
before,
to
yeah.
the I will provide you the slide, and to the extent possible, I'll provide you the slide before the class.
Yeah,
So
so
we
that
need
at least
not
if
rush.
I have a glance, I will, no, I need to ask you something. I'll think about it. Okay.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Appreciate that.
So, so please tell me if today, if you have some idea about what the requirement activity is. Very simple. Your job is to focus on requirements, and you will have to come up with some output. You have to imbibe these outputs yourself. And as you imbibe these outputs yourself, you have to communicate to the team and to all the stakeholders time and again. This is all what you need to do. And now I
The
see,
documents what we discuss, the type of documents. Okay, we have not discussed in detail that each document, but the type of document like the BRD, the FRD, the other one is the SRS, I believe, right? The document list. So, like, at what stage? Okay, we also discussed the stage of the project, like what are the pre-project documents, what are the post like ongoing project documents. But what scenarios like this project needs to be prepared? Like
if you can, if you can,
at what stage okay, the business requirement document is the initial document, what I believe, okay, or what I have
yes,
understood
yes.
at the start of the
So
project, okay.
I have a note on the portal, the e-learning portal, where I have prepared a document where I have clarified when all these documents will be prepared and what is the primary objective of each of the documents.
The
Just to,
prerequisites for preparing the document.
I'll tell you the real scenario. Real scenario is that while you are working on a project, things will come to you,
Hmm.
and they will just come to you, and whatever will come to you, you have to prepare some output for that.
Yes.
Sometimes it is not this linear that A will
Hmm.
lead to B and B will lead to C.
I got it. Yes.
Yeah. So you need to be skilled enough so that whatever is being you see expected from you, you just prepare that, and you are then just part of the flow which is going on. And
Okay.
more often than not, you will be parachuted on a project which is already on.
Yes.
So 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 that will be the case. All what you can remember, if you are to remember now, start with the role goal matrix. Start with the requirements register. Let us say you are the one who is initiating the project. Identify the user roles, identify the goals, because this is what requirements are. And then as we will proceed, you will get to understand the things.
Okay.
Now I will tell you one more important thing as to how I will take up this program. There are some difficult areas in this program. There are relatively conceptual areas in this program. Okay, for example, a structured query language, which is the programming language utilized on the project to interact with databases, is relatively a difficult area for individuals who have not had any programming experience as yet. So what will do, we will have a conceptual track and we will also have a hands-on track. And I will take up some difficult areas early on so that you have time to practice. Otherwise, if you do not practice on, say, for example, things like SQL or Visio or Power BI, you will not be able to catch up. So what I will do tomorrow, this is the requirements track which will continue. But on Sunday, say for example, tomorrow, and yet another Sunday, that is Sunday after that, that is 20th and 27th, we will be taking up structured query language. For that, I will provide you the instruction, what you need to, basically the environment for which you need to register, nothing else. To access Oracle, I'll provide you the link where you need to register so that you do not spend our time registering on the Oracle portal while the class is on. So this is how I will take up. So we will take both the hard and relatively softer part of the course together. Yeah, coming back, I seek questions from your side.
About the requirements, it is very clear to me. I do not have any questions at this time. Maybe after I go through the recordings and the slides, I might come back to you with more questions. But in terms of understanding the exact role of the business analyst himself, I'm still not very clear. I'm having some idea now, but I'm still not very clear because some like I'm trying to understand what exactly will be the role of a business analyst in an enterprise. Uh, Based on the previous documentations like business requirements and all those requirements furnished by the client, what does the business analyst actually have to come up with? uh, they just have
I'll
to
tell you.
prepare these documents
I will tell you.
based
I
on
will
the
tell you.
data.
Let us understand the context. You will generally be working with an IT vendor or an IT company. Okay. And you will be working on a project. Let us say a project could be that this company is preparing a online e-commerce portal, or this company is, say, for example, preparing a net meeting software like Zoom or GoToMeeting, or this company, there could be a number of projects, or let us say this company is delivering a university management solution to a university, or let us say this company is building an inventory management software. Your job will focus on requirements of the project. Hey, while we talk about university management system, you may have some general awareness that this university may have multiple colleges. Within colleges, there may be multiple departments. Within multiple departments, there may be multiple programs. Within multiple programs, there may be multiple batches. Within multiple batches, there will be subjects. These subjects could be core and elective subjects. So they goes on and on. You may have some general idea. So many people may have some general idea. But then finally, you have to document each and every goal so that these goals are captured in the document and then finally taken up for development. Your focus will be on requirements. Some other people will develop the software, yet another set will test the software. So, Mr. Ahmed, now you can contribute to your question, or you can ask a supplementary question.
Yeah, so basically from what you said, what I'm understanding is the business analyst is mainly playing the role of a middleman, where they are acquiring the requirements from the enterprise and passing on and preparing documentation and then passing on the requirements to the development team. Correct?
In a sense, yes. Only thing is you have to add value all the time.
Yes, of course.
So that value addition has to be there. Otherwise, client is the source of the requirement, and you have to come up with outputs, and then you need to share these outputs with the development team, share, explain, clarify, so many things.
Yes.
Are these documents like they continuously get updated, or is it just a one time we draft the like for a business requirement document? Okay, it's at the initial start of the project. It is drafted, and that's what needs to be followed, or will there be more and more changes as the project proceeds?
Okay, I will tell you. In theory, all the documents are subject to change. Having said that, there is a concept which is called as a baseline document. Even before I explain what a baseline document is, some documents change, rarely change, or change in a very slow manner. Say, for example, a project business requirement document for the project. Business requirements are, you see, goals, which is something like, say, for example, for a e-learning system, if we trace back, a business requirement document could be a well-trained workforce, a workforce which has got up-to-date knowledge. Now, to have a well-trained workforce, to have a workforce which has got up-to-date knowledge, to workforce which has got certification according to regulatory compliances, these, these will change slow, whereas functional requirements of the software may change fast. Having said that, whether we work on a business requirement document which is changing slow or a functional requirement requirement document which may be getting updated time to time. All these documents are which we work upon are validated document and baselined document. So baselined is once a document is baselined, we provide a version number. There is an approver, we provide a version number, and then if we are to change this document, we have to come up with yet another version.
So a business requirement document will rarely change, whereas functional requirement documents will often change, whereas enterprise requirement document will seldom change.
You are right.
Okay, I think I'm understanding the concept now.
Okay. Just remember, your world will revolve around this word requirement.
Yeah, thank you, Vijay. I don't have any follow-up questions right now.
Okay. Mr. Samir, anything from your side?
It's okay for today. Of course, many
Okay.
things, but for today, I would stop here. Yeah.
Okay. So the recording for this session will reach you automatically. Something like 8, 8, 10 or 12 hours from now, I will create the group and I will share I will provide you the access to the presentations also, which is again available on the portal. So you will have access to these presentations on the portal. But that will be
Okay.
something like 12 hours from now. And I will also create the WhatsApp group for the batch so that we are connected with each other and there is a common communication. We meet India time tomorrow, 9 p.m. again. And tomorrow morning, something like 12 hours or 10 hours before the class, I will share with you the link for SQL. All you need to do is just to register on the portal so that you create your user ID and password on the Oracle Live SQL. And I will share these details on the WhatsApp group also.
Okay.
So, Vijay, after the class, I'll go through the recording and the slides, and I'll like a follow up on today's session. And then tomorrow session, you said we'll be working on SQL, correct?
Yes. So this requirement session will come up again. The requirements activity or whatever is related to this will come up again next Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
And in the portal, I will open the portal also if I can. Let me see. I think I have to do a log on. Just if you log on to the portal, there are two areas. Both of you can log on now so that login. Okay, for example, this multi-factor authentication is a security requirement. Only that person will be able to access the software who has and data who is authorized to do the same.
So I've gone to the portal and I clicked on login, and then it's asking me for the uh, site. So what should I put as site over there?
As
QBI, QBI.
I have mentioned, just you check the mm, WhatsApp. I have basically provided you the site which you need to provide. qbi.knowledge.com. Just you check your WhatsApp communication which I have shared with you.
QBI, QBI.knowledge.com.
Knowledge.com. Just you follow that
Nourish.com.
link. .com. This is your course, professional level business analyst program. See here, IT industry fundamentals and business analysis essential. You can check this one. And you can check overview of requirements engineering and management section 3.
This is under course, right?
Yeah, this is basically what you have access to on the portal. Overview of requirements and IT industry fundamentals. These two sections now you have to cover.
IT industry fundamentals, not business analyst essentials. Okay.
We have, so this was the first lecture which we attended last week, and this one is the one which we completed today. That is of section overview of requirements and requirement engineering and management.
Section 3.
So I believe both of you can log on to the portal.
Yeah, but I don't know why I am getting different kind of.
You will have a different screen because you see I am the
Yes.
administrator here.
Okay. No, because I was not able to get the document section 3. I don't know where it is section 3.
Actually, there is this confusion that section is not mentioned here, but whatever will be, you will have three modules or sections or 3 units, 1, 2, and 3. Even I do not know what is mentioned there. What you see as a student, just you see there is a area, there is a unit and there are subunits.
Okay.
So just you see, it will be whether it is called section or module or unit. Just you
Is it
see there
okay
is
if you is it okay if you allow me to share the screen from my side?
sure. Why
That
not?
will,
So
I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah. So
even Ahmad is having the similar screen, so we would be
so
able to
how will I?
understand.
Yeah. How will I make you the presenter?
I
Just a
think for
minute.
that you need to stop your sharing and then
Okay. So I do the stop sharing, and then can you share, or do you need some extra permission?
no, I think you have set the permission requirement.
So
Only it says only meeting organizer and presenter can share. Okay.
I will let me see if I can change the things.
You need to assign someone as an organizer or something.
Check the meeting settings. Meeting options. Yeah. Participation. Meeting chat on. Next time onwards, I'll
My password is not working. Will you be able to reset my password? Or
Yeah,
you can reset yourself.
I did the same thing. I just reset the password and login.
Allow mic for attendee, allow camera meeting chat.
or maybe if it's taking some time for you.
Next time I will provide this.
Yeah.
What you can do, you can take a snip of the shot and you can send me on WhatsApp. I can check the WhatsApp at this moment.
Okay. Whatever. Or maybe, if you can set this permission right, so we can go through this course content, what we see tomorrow.
Next meeting, I will try to do that. Yeah,
Yes, and also that.
yeah.
I'm trying to
Okay.
reset. I'm trying to reset my password. I clicked on forgot password, but I have not received an email to reset the password
Then
yet.
I must go check in spam. It's going to spam.
Oh, it's going to spam.
Yeah.
If there is some area where you can basically set this email ID as a trusted one, or you add this email ID in your contacts, maybe then
Once
next
once
time
it is
onwards.
removed from spam, it will not be going back again.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Once it
So
is
we can,
moved from spam to inbox.
so we can, so we can call this feature as AI in the email,
Yeah.
in the email software. So email software is AI enabled. Okay, so allow me to stop the session now,
Okay.
and
I'm okay for that.
yeah, we meet again online 9 p.m. India time tomorrow, and during
Got
the
it.
day I'll communicate with you in something like 12 hours from now.
How many more participants are expected to join, Vijay?
Yes, yes, there are
How
more
many more?
participants.
Okay.
Three, three,
Three more in the line. Okay.
three. They have joined, but they have
Okay.
taken leave for today.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so and if you have anyone else to recommend, you can recommend them. I will ensure that whatever they have missed, I'll organize that for them as well.
Very clear. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks to you. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.